and let us all do we can to build a better future. In a segment that I like to call, It's Funny When It Happens to Them, and it's hilarious when it happens to them. Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, has been blocked not once, but twice, as it stands right now, not once and twice, for speakership. Now, in recent articles, and again, with the article that you have in the show notes, it's now technically no longer fresh, as there's a second roll, and for the second roll call, it didn't go through. The second ballot didn't push forward. So McCarthy, not once, but twice, failed to secure his position as Speaker of the House. So at least a group of 19 Republicans blocked the GOP leader, Kevin McCarthy, not once but twice, from securing the gavel on the first vote and now apparently on the second vote. And as I am watching this happen live right now, at least here on our channel, the House is now holding a third vote for McCarthy. And again, 9 minutes right now, McCarthy loses third House Speaker vote. So again, it's showing that he lost again for the third time. So while this is happening, as the 118th Congress convenes, again, they are looking at the fact that, again, McCarthy, not once, but again, breaking now 3 times, fails to secure a vote. And now he lost another supporter. So now 20 Republican lawmakers voted against McCarthy for Speaker. Now, what exactly is going on precisely with the Republican Party? Now, it could be that these 20 Republicans want something in return, and McCarthy is failing to deliver. Now, I've said this on the show that the Freedom Caucus, and again, I don't support the Freedom Caucus, but the Freedom Caucus is doing something that I wanted AOC and the squad to do, and that is use their power, their influence, to get something from Nancy and the Democrats, to which they failed to do. So, hey, Fat Tony. Hey, Sammy Boy Cedar. By Fat Tony, I mean Cenk Uygur. What's it like knowing that Jimmy Dore was right and correct on force to vote? And that, yes, you have to raise the ruckus to make these politicians' lives a living hell. Yes, you have to make these politicians work. Yes, you have to make them struggle. Because the thing is, for a long time, a lot of these politicians who've been in power for decades have skated by through our own silent, obedient consent. And here's what somebody at Jimmy Dore tweeted. The Republicans are currently doing what I was told could not be done and was performative. They are extracting concessions for their vote for Speaker, or as AOC likes to call it, violence. Now, again, this tweet came out, again, at 1:56 p.m. my time. But not once, twice, and it's breaking right now, 3 times, Kevin McCarthy has failed to secure his position as Speaker of the House. AOC and the squad, Congressional Progressive Caucus. What's going on? I want to pull up this video here. It's 43 seconds. And look, I'm not expecting anyone. And again, when I talk about the Republicans, this is not an endorsement, but I have to say I am thoroughly impressed with the work that they have done in regards towards getting what they want. We won't get that from the squad. We won't get that from any elected official in the Congressional Progressive Caucus. I'm so sorry. If you're a diehard Democratic supporter, know this, that the progressives had the same amount of power that we're seeing that these Republican lawmakers do. The only difference is it's now, at least in my opinion, that elected officials like AOC, the squad, they were all very good performative artists. They pulled a very good dance. They pulled a very good scheme on us all. And now they're in positions of power to where they say, oh, well, you just got to vote for more Democrats next election cycle. So I'll pull up this video here.
But we were threatened by my committee chairman to be on the Armed Services Committee, Mr. Rogers, that if we did not vote for Mr. McCarthy, we would be removed from committees. Our position is that if Kevin McCarthy is the Speaker of the House and we don't have an ability to ensure that there is oomph behind the agenda and energy behind our oversight, that the committee assignments don't mean that much anyway. I'm not here to participate in some puppet show where we pass a bunch of messaging bills, send them to the Senate, watch them die, fail to use leverage, and don't hold the Biden administration accountable. I don't want to relive the Benghazi experience where it's just theater pretending to be oversight, right? We can do better than that, and that's our purpose today.
Okay. Can you imagine if AOC said that? Ro Khanna, Rashida Tlaib, Cori Bush, Ayanna Presley. Can you imagine if they said something like that? Pramila Jayapal? Because the thing is, once again, Jimmy Dore and everyone else who was calling for forced to vote were correct. Jimmy Dore got attacked. Brianna Joy Gray got attacked. Justin Jackson, Cornel West. We hear at Hard Lens Media. So many people, so many individuals were said and trying to smear everyone, saying, oh, you can't do forced to vote. We got to keep our powder dry. We got to elect Nancy, or otherwise Kevin McCarthy is going to become Speaker of the House. His own freaking party right there, Cenk and Sammy Boy Cedar, are making his life a living hell. Now, if it's all performative, hey, it's a really good job. Or what we're seeing here, and this is the frightening part, they're using their position, these 20 Republicans, to get concessions and other positions from McCarthy, because if not, they're going to keep on doing this. Now, the thing is, a lot of people wondering, well, wait a minute, kid, wait a minute. What if more Republicans vote no? Does that mean the Democrats become Speaker of the House? No. As Farron said on the show yesterday, the only way that's going to happen, the only way, and this is point here, is if the Republicans vote present in a massive amount to where their vote gets canceled out, and that means that then the Democrats can get in. So that means the Republicans all have to agree to vote present, and no Republican's going to do that. They're going to keep on voting no and no and no until Kevin McCarthy either is being out by another contender in the Republican Party, or Kevin McCarthy bows down to their demands, and then his hands are tied. You thought Boohoo Bomer had a bad time? Kevin McCarthy's going to have a headache. He's not going to want this job. So that's the only way. So, hey, Cenk and Sam, turns out, again, Jimmy Dore was right, because all what the Democrats had to do, AOC and the squad had to do, was keep on voting no and no and no. Hell, maybe if one of them actually had a backbone, they could have stepped up and challenged Nancy. But I guess AOC didn't want to upset Mama Bear. I want to pull up another tweet. This came out yesterday, which, again, shout out to Kim Iverson. She does some great work. If you're not following her on social media, please do so. Kim Iverson writes, it's amazing to see a handful of conservatives hold Kevin McCarthy's speakership's dreams hostage the way progressives like AOC refuse to do with Pelosi. Now let's have democracy in the chat, because you know what, audience, we all have different opinions and perspectives, different points of view. And you know, I am prepared to admit, okay, maybe there's something I missed. But let's be real with each other. Type 1, if you think, and if you believe, in an alternate scenario, what we're seeing from the Republicans, the Democrats could have done, the House progressives could have done in 2021, what they're doing to Kevin McCarthy, they could have done to Pelosi. If they could have done it. Type 2, if you think, no, Kit, there was more rules and procedures. There's a little bit more to this. You're missing something, and let me elaborate. Because I think it's important we have this conversation here. Now, again, I'm loving this. I absolutely enjoy watching this, because we're seeing forced to vote happen. Because not once, but 3 times, McCarthy has failed to secure the speakership. And it's his own party that's causing this headache. It's incredible. I want to pull up another tweet here from the wonderful and outstanding Brianna Joy Gray. She does phenomenal work too. She was also horribly attacked for being supportive of forced to vote. Mind you, again, forced to vote. Isn't this one day Jimmy Dore just woke up and thought, hey, let's do forced to vote? No, it was already there. Hell, it's in DSA's handbook. People don't talk about that, but that's a fact. It is wild to be listening to mainstream media coverage of how Republicans are, oh my goodness, jank, forcing the vote, and how the far right is getting major concessions because Republicans can only afford to lose 4 votes when the left was patronized relentlessly for pointing out the squad could do the same. Let's actually see some democracy. I want to see. We got a whole bunch of ones. And again, yeah. Whole bunch of ones right there. Sebastiano, you know what? I'm calling you out. Elaborate. Trust the strategy, Kit. You know what? You win the you're right now contender for first place for comment until I see something else here. But there you go. All right. And again, Edward Heller, who's another co-host for Chicago Corner, writes, except the squad was just was a marketing gimmick and not an actual voting block. That's correct. Yep. And then again, Illinois says, why force the vote when we could just ruffle it? DC politics. So look, I don't know if she'll be going live today, but Farron, who again was my co-host on Monday's show, we clipped that episode too. So check it out after the live stream. But she goes into detail about what are the real options for McCarthy. Now, again, these Republicans can keep voting no, but by voting no, that does not mean that Hakeem Jeffries gets to become speaker. The only way that happens is if enough Republicans vote present. That terminates their vote. And Farron did a fantastic job explaining it on yesterday's live stream show, as well as in the clip that we did of that episode. So please check it out after the live stream, of course. But this should show all of you again that we are witnessing force the vote happening in real time. I only can imagine if AOC and the squad now are wondering, gee, maybe if we did that, who knows? We could have got Medicare for all to happen. But then again, like I've said on the show, the only reason why we don't see anything get done by the Democrats, even if they get a majority or a supermajority, is because then they lose their ability to fundraise. It's all one big joke. It's all one big scheme by these politicians. They like to lie. They like to cheat. They like to scam people. And they like to give out false promises. And again, as it stands right now, breaking. McCarthy loses not once, but three times to become Speaker of the House. Nancy didn't even have that much of a struggle. Nancy failed. And apparently old AOC was screaming out Hakeem Jeffries because, oh, she was supposed to say something. Hakeem, I got your back. Even though he's against progressives too. And AOC is saying we have to keep going. This is historic. This is a historic election right now. Again, madness. Madness and stupidity. But you know what? I do find this funny. I don't know if you all saw this too, but even AOC, there's an article by The Independent where AOC is praised for patiently smiling and nodding while talking to a GOP opponent who posted an anime of him, supposedly, that's the guy who did the Attack on Titan, Paul Gosner, the Arizona Republican. He's the one who did the Attack on Titan, kind of thing. So, yeah. So there they are, just talking to each other. In fact, you know what? I'm going to share it with all of you because you guys and gals in my audience deserve a laugh. Because after all, I mean, hey, it's just madness and stupidity all around. Let's just pull this up here so all of you can enjoy it too. Hashtag I miss FaZe, because then this would be moving more fluidly. There she is. And it seems to me that they're just talking. They're talking. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's pretend to talk. Let's pretend to talk here. Yep. Nodding and agreeing. Talk. Hey, let's have democracy in the chat. Do you think that was a sincere conversation that AOC was having with Representative Gosner? Type 3 if you think that was a sincere conversation. Type 4 if it's just like whatever. They were just doing that for the cameras. So one more time, I just want to play this video for all of you who are just joining us right now. And again, it's absolutely inexcusable, because the Democrats could have done the same thing too if they wanted to, if they gave a damn.
But we were threatened by my committee chairman to be on the Armed Services Committee, Mr. Rogers, that if we did not vote for Mr. McCarthy, we would be removed from committees. Our position is that if Kevin McCarthy is the Speaker of the House and we don't have an ability to ensure that there is oomph behind the agenda and energy behind our oversight, that the committee assignments don't mean that much anyway. I'm not here to participate in some puppet show where we pass a bunch of messaging bills, send them to the Senate, watch them die, fail to use leverage, and don't hold the Biden administration accountable. I don't want to relive the Benghazi experience where it's just theater pretending to be oversight, right? We can do better than that, and that's our purpose today. But we were...
If only AOC said something like that. If only the squad had done something like that, in theory. And there's no excuse whatsoever. We're seeing these politicians play this game. They don't have the courage. The Democrats don't have the courage to challenge party leadership because they're okay with falling in line. They're okay with being part of the system. And again, not once, but 3 times, Kevin McCarthy has failed to secure his position for Speaker. And of course, I do hope that Farron does go at least live today or tomorrow to elaborate, because she's over there in Washington, D.C. right now. And again, here's a tweet here from Jimmy. And again, he was right. It's funny how people like Cenk Uygur lied and said that Kevin McCarthy would become Speaker if the squad withheld their vote for Nancy. The funny thing is Republicans actually control Congress now, and Kevin McCarthy is having a hell of a hard time becoming Speaker. Hashtag force the vote. And again, it has to deal with a tweet that I showed earlier. The Republicans are currently doing what I was told could not be done and was performative. They are extracting concessions for their vote for Speaker, or as AOC likes to call it, violence. Now, Jimmy Dore was correct. Everyone that was supporting for force the vote was correct. The only way the Democrats are going to get position for Speaker of the House is if enough Republicans cancel themselves out by voting present. Just because they're voting no does not mean the Democrats are going to get the position as Speaker of the House. They keep on going back and forth, back and forth. But the Republican Party, let's face it. Look, I have my opinion about the Republican Party, all right? The politicians, all right? They're not stupid. The politicians, they know what they're doing. And they'll be damned if they give up that position to the Democrats. So obviously, there's been a lot of backroom talking going on. Obviously, right off the bat, you know that they're not going to vote present, because if they give up that position, that means Hakeem Jeffries automatically can become Speaker if enough Republicans vote present to where the Democrats have the majority votes yes for Hakeem. But that's not happening. Who knows how long this can keep on going on for? Originally, there was 9 Republicans. Then it came up to 19 Republicans. Now it's 20 Republicans that are halting Kevin McCarthy from becoming Speaker of the House by voting no. You think anyone's worried about keeping their powder dry there? No. They want things, and they're going to get them. And I want to see this play out. Now, of course, the end result will be bad for the American people, but I want this to forever be embedded in your minds that force the vote is a thing, that the squad, those 15 congressmen and women who are on the force the vote petition, could have done this too. They could have done something to shake the foundations of the political establishment. They could have done the right thing, but they chose not to because they didn't want to rile up leadership. They were comfortable, and it was all performative. We live in a clown show, folks. That's what we live in. So as a final note, Jimmy Dore is correct. Everyone who supported force to vote was correct. And this will keep on going on for quite some time. Well done, Democrats. You know how to play a very good game of shooting yourself in the foot. And to anyone that votes Democrat, what's your excuse now? Because you got none.